Well, good morning, Interbet fans, and welcome to the preview for Greyville Poly track. This was a Scottsville meeting, and what's interesting is that on Monday, this track was being ripped up. I saw them ripping up the track. They had the ripper on it, and certainly should change the consistency and maybe give the horses a chance that are going to be running on from behind, which makes the form quite difficult. On top of that, there are a lot of horses that have been scratched. There are a lot of horses that really, you don't know if this is their best surface. But let's kick off the barrier trial at 12:05. First race is at 20-1, and this is a maiden juvenile played 1100 meters. And I think Mike Miller holds the key. He's got the two best horses in the race, Walls of Dubrovnik and Instinctive Power. My slight fancy is for Instinctive Power. Might be the right one. Walls of Dubrovnik has had the run and ran pretty well, but I liked Instinctive Power's barrier trial. So Pom's been scratched. And obviously Ziva de Grace might be the danger to them, who's had a couple of runs. But I'm going with Mike Miller to win the first. So the second race, 1000 meters, maiden plate. This is an interesting race. McKellen and Nichols in were very close together last time. I didn't think Marcus was at his best on McKellen, and I think that you'll find that this horse will run really well here. He has run well on the Poly track before, and they look like the absolute two to fight out a race two. Race 3, that is maiden plate fillies and mares, 1000 meters. And the 8 to 10 shots, Afriel comes from Johannesburg. Clinton Binder brings it. Anton Marcus jumps aboard it from a good draw, goes on the Poly for the first time. The value here is hop, skip, and jump. I think they put the blinkers on it. I know Mace fancied this last time, and I would think that this horse would be extremely difficult to beat. What are the rest? There are a number of horses with chances. Matadora's Pride, Noble Freedom, and Challenger Lure have all been there or thereabouts. Race 4, first leg of the jackpot. Merit 75 fillies and mares 1600 meters. Well, you can bank a 2 here. Got very good form, and I think Marcus will bring this one home. If you don't bank a 2, well, then you've got to have a very close look at the rest of them. Enrapture looks like a big runner for Sherman Brown and Yogas Govender. That looks like the main danger. Pop Over, look for big improvement from this one off a low weight. DeMello on it, drawn 1. Big improvement expected there. So maybe the 3 will suffice. Race 5, mirror rated 68, fillies and mares. And here I think another banker or the field, Roy's Psycho for Anton Marcus and Alison Wright. This was a model consistency, just doesn't get his head in front, but he's a very nice horse, and he's far better than this type of field. Stand By Me, that might be a big outsider for you, put it into your play. Tom Bombadil comes into the race with a chance for Daryl Moore, and Dom Sigador always runs well. Expect him to go well here. Peter Piper, unlucky last, maybe come into the play, but he is getting long in the tooth. Race 6, 1000 meter, mirror rated 98. Well, there's a lot of pace here, and it depends if the pace holds up. If the pace holds up, a horse like Calvary's the right horse. Very hard to beat. Effortless Reward, always there or thereabout. Winter Blues, Louis Goossens other runner. Craig Zaki rides this horse. For Mario Ferreri, he's got the job there. Kingsmead, he's got to be held up, and if everything goes according to plan, he's the right horse, but he's got to be held up, and he's got to come off at a top pace. Race 7, 1200 meters, merit rated 78, and this is an interesting race because I like Cont Master. I think he's the right horse, Anton Marcus, and I think Anton Marcus is the key today. If he puts it in today, we'll get a good result from him. This looks like the right horse. This horse has got some ability, and Anton jumps on it again. Quinte, big runner. Comes from Cape Town. Dennis Bosch got good form in Cape Town and would be hard to beat here. What are the rest? Well, Kingston Rock won on the track 3 runs ago. Mashari might be a big improver here. And Chatterton's Keeper, Warren Kennedy for Wendy Whitehead. When he jumps on one of Wendy Whitehead's horses, take note. Race 8. Merit rate, there's a maiden plate, 1950 at least. And the favorite here, Bayview Express, and looks very hard to beat. Gets Marcus, ran 4th 3 runs ago on the Poly track over the 1400. Will be better over this trip. Lots to like about Bayview Express. He looks like the right horse. 2 dangers. Double Gemini, 3rd run, 1st run on the Poly. Lots to like about his form, and he might be the big improver. He's a 5-year-old, and they've taken. He hasn't had many runs at all. He's only had 8 runs, 3 places, so he could be much better than this. And then the Mike Miller 2 power to command, and elite status go into all my quartets. Well, it's a good day's racing. Nice to be back on the track from me, James Goodman, and the Interbet team. Remember, you get on Interbet, they've got a whole new hot, which is means you get the best odds on some races that are laid. So you can have a bet on a horse and you get much better odds at the end of the day if the horse ends up or is laid at better odds. So have a look at Interbet's site, and remember, you bet on the tote for absolutely no commissions at all.